Hello and welcome to another episode of the Destiny Truthcast. This is episode number 55. I am Lost Souls and joined today as always by RedWingGirl. How are you doing today, RedWingGirl?
I'm doing okay. I just came in the house. I have wood chips and dust and crap all over my hair because I'm trying to cut down a bunch of branches on my giant trees, and I forgot that we were doing this at 12 instead of 3, and so I'm full of sap and dust.
So we can't put up any pictures of the Woodley RWG on the podcast today?
Well, I'm just trying to get a head start because, today's Game of Thrones, and I have to be fully prepared for that, and so I'm trying to get everything that I need to get done around here done because I want to prepare myself. I want to watch the last episode and then watch the new one.
So you're a little bit excited for Game of Thrones? Just a little bit?
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Well, we have had a 2-week hiatus with the 4th of July and then just took another week off just to kind of rest and recuperate. We have 3 new guests with us today. We've got hyattmarc, RarelyRandom, and J Howard 414. How are you all doing today?
Hi, this is Mark. Thanks for inviting me. It's great to be here. Yeah, I'm equally excited for Game of Thrones too, so perfect timing to pass the time until GOT Season 7 starts.
I was going to say, I've never seen Game of Thrones before. I know that might be blasphemous, but no, this is J Howard 414, and I'm glad to be here too. I'm a big fan of the show, and I'm sorry if you kicked me off because I've never seen Game of Thrones before.
What do you think?
Oh, it's okay. Well, by the end of the show, hopefully we'll get him to watch it. I'm interested though. Why haven't you watched it? Because you don't have HBO, or because you're just not interested, or don't have the time?
We actually have all the seasons on Blu-ray. My wife is a pretty avid watcher of shows like that, and we have all the seasons. I just never. It's a matter of time, I guess, between doing everything that I do, but also I don't really watch very much TV. It just never. If I'm in front of a TV, I'm usually playing video games. So.
Yeah, I'm basically the same way. Like, I never ever watch TV, but I do have like 1 or 2 shows that I do, like the Walking Dead series. I'm a huge fan of that, so I do watch that, and Game of Thrones, and I'm sure there's maybe one other show that I'm faithful to, but I don't really watch TV either. I'm always playing games, but Game of Thrones is a definite have to see.
And sorry to cut you off there, Random, but how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm just tired. I work nights. I haven't been to sleep yet. But you can just call me Random, and I'm right up there with you guys. I've watched every season of Game of Thrones. Definitely addicted to it. I can't wait to see the new one.
Well, Random, if you could, let the community know a little bit about yourself.
There's not much to tell. I've just been playing since the Dark Below, and I love this game. It's got its faults, but I've had a blast with it. I'm usually on every morning scrolling the forums or the Destiny group to see if anybody just needs help with anything.
When you play Destiny, what kind of Destiny player are you? Are you a PvE player, PvP? How do you like to play the game?
Mostly PvE. I can do okay in PvP, but I don't like using the meta, so I usually get kind of pub stomped.
One thing that I've noticed that a lot of people that come on that are not beta players always say they started with the House of Wolves. Isn't that like the second DLC?
The House of Wolves was the second one, yeah.
So I wonder why didn't you start from the beginning? I never asked anybody this before. I just kind of shake it off as, another House of Wolves guy or girl who comes on and decided to pick it up much later. Why didn't you start playing it from the beginning, and why did you decide to start at House of Wolves?
I was following the stuff about Destiny before it came out, like how everybody's, paying attention to all the news for the sequel now. And a lot of the stuff that I heard then, I was skeptical about. I didn't know if it was actually going to be as good as they were making it out to be. And then a few of my friends got it and told me it was nothing like what they expected. It was terrible. They hated it. And it made me cautious. And then I heard from a few other people after, like when The Dark Below came out, that they had already patched a bunch of stuff, and yeah, it had its flaws, but it was really fun. And they told me I should just pick it up and try it, you know. And I fell in love with the gunplay immediately, and I loved the class setup. I mean, that was enough for me right there.
So, what class do you main when you play Destiny?
Right now, I prefer my Sunsinger Warlock, and no, not because of self-res. I actually prefer Radiant skin. I just love the grenade, the solar grenades with Radiance. But for Destiny 2, I'm definitely going Sentinel.
Ah, good choice.
Yeah, it's something we always have fun with the guests, because RWG is all about the Titan, and I mained a Titan for 2 years, and then my Warlock became my main, and for the same thing, like just the solar grenades lighting the world on fire. It's just, to me, the most fun class to play in PvE, at least.
I have to say I'm with RedWingGirl, hashtag Titan Master Race. I've always been a Striker Titan mainly, but before I used to switch around the classes, but they just seem so slow without that Titan skate.
Well, you know the Titan skate is supposedly going away in Destiny 2, so we'll see how the Titans adapt to that. But why don't you tell the community a little bit about yourself, Mark? Joining us from the UK today, another UK guest.
Thanks, Sol. Yeah, so I'm one of those in since beta. Yeah, like many, I was a massive Bungie fan, eagerly awaited what they did. I was a solo player for my first kind of 5 months up until kind of Dark Below came out early 2015, in which time I joined one of the DoD clans, DoD the Unknown. You know, best thing I ever did. You know, I thoroughly recommend anyone who isn't in a clan to hook up and join one, especially before D2. Joined them, and I've been with them ever since. We did kind of leave DoD, so we're now actually Unknown Redux, but it's the same kind of core group, and we've expanded to about 200 players now. And yeah, it's still playing, you know, way too much. But, you know, Destiny is my chance to, you know, connect with these people. I think I saw an interview with Luke Smith, and he said, you know, something which really struck me the other week. He said, we give players an excuse to play together with Destiny. And, you know, for me, that's been the case for a long time now.
So what class do you play besides the Titan? Do you play the other two, or sort of equally, or are you just mainly the Titan?
Striker pretty much most of the time, unless it's raid, then I need my bubble. I've never been a big fan of the hammers for some reason. I've messed around with it, but Striker Titan with that Titan skate, that shoulder charge for the extra mobility, 2 lightning grenades. Yeah, it's just it's a fun class to play. So you're PvPer?
You like the PvP?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, our clan is mixed. You know, obviously when new content comes out, you're all about the new story, the new raids, everything. It's pretty much PvE all the way. But as the content kind of dries up, which it happens to do, you know, I fall back on PvP because it's just fun to, you know, load up in a fire team with your friends and mess around in Crucible.
What's your go-to weapon of choice when you play Destiny? What are you a scout, pulse, hand cannon? What do you like to use?
Year 1, when Hawkmoon was magnificent, I was Hawkmoon, Thorn, Last Word, one of those hand cannon guys. But over the years, I've been pretty much a pulse rifle guy. I had 3 little words year 1, that was awesome. Year 2 was all about Nerwin's Mercy. And this year, then it was Grasp of Malak and Parthian Shot I'm on now. But I've always got Mida as my backup as well. Bungie have a good habit of nerfing every single gun I like to play with, so my typical loadout at the start of the year would have been a Grasp of Malak, a shotgun, and a Truth. And they nerfed the shit out of all 3 of them, but thanks, Bungie.
RWG, that sounds a lot like your loadouts that you played with.
No, I never liked the Truth. I always ended up blowing up myself. I'm more of a blade user, and I never really used shotguns because I sucked at them. I'm more of a fusion rifle person, but Grasp of Malak I really did like. So yeah, that was kind of a disappointment when they nerfed that. But I actually like Parthian. I think it's a great pulse rifle.
Yeah, the one I've got has got stability perks. It's got counterbalance, perfect balance, and rodeo as well. So it's like a laser. If I can hit their head, then they're going down pretty quick. If I can hit their head.
And what about you, Jay Howard? Can you tell us, the community, a little bit about yourself?
I'm a year one or day one player actually, and I played solo for most of it, up and through House of Wolves. Joined a clan. I've been in a couple clans, pretty salty clans, I guess. So once I got out of that, I joined up with the Destiny Reset podcast clan, or also known as the Derp Fam. I've been with them ever since, and yeah, I'm pretty much was a PvE player, did raids, did story, hated PvP until I got into that clan and started playing a little more. And now I'm a Trials scrub. I play Trials every weekend, never do good, but absolute meta player. I'm horrible. I'm going to make everybody here hate me pretty much.
Have you been to the Lighthouse?
I have been to the Lighthouse exactly one time, and I was more than carried by a good friend of mine out of Hong Kong, and yeah, that's all I've ever seen it, just once. I made it to 8 wins, I don't know how many times, but can never seem to get to the 9th.
Yeah, my friends and I, when Trials first came out, we attempted to do it, and I think we got up to level 7 or 8, and it was manageable, It was like there wasn't really this strong meta developed yet, and there hadn't been a lot of nerfing going on then, and people didn't really know the maps, and so it was sort of new. I mean, I think we did it like the first week that it came out, and I felt like, it was an opportunity to actually compete, and then at that point I hadn't really done a lot of PvP, and I'm sort of the way you were. I just sucked at it. I mean, if you look at my KD now, it's not even probably a 1 because I played for so long with people who are really good that I was going against these really great players, and so I always was like really bad. But now I feel a little bit stronger. I know the maps really well. I know my guns. I know how to play, a lot better now. And my KD has never caught up to what I actually think I actually am. But now when I go into Trials, it's just a joke. I mean, now it's just like, okay, just grab the bounties. Let's just hopefully get something to drop, and then that's it. I never think ever I'm going to go to Lighthouse, and I've never been to the Lighthouse. It's like one of the last things on my Iron Lords thing or whatever, Trials, Ages of Trials or whatever it's called, that I haven't been able to complete because of, I just think it's so sweaty now and it's so laggy, and there's just like all kinds of stuff going on that I cannot compete against those people.
I oftentimes, I'm also a graphic designer, and I actually cheat a lot because I do a lot of art trading for Trials carries. That's maybe not the best thing in the world, but I've learned a lot doing things like that, and it really does help. So I've played with some really good teams, and they carry me. I mean, I'm horrible. I don't even think my KD is it might be a 0.1 something. I mean, it's god awful, but I have fun doing it, and I have fun trying, and I like to learn. So.
And that was the next thing I was going to get to, is you were actually do a little artwork within the Destiny community. So yeah, just let the community know a little bit about what all you do, because I know you've done a lot of like Twitter stuff and Twitch stuff for people and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer, whatever you want to call that. I do Twitch art, overlays, Twitter art. I do a lot of work for podcasting, logo work, and stuff like that. And I do that on my own kind of thing, and then I'm also the main admin for the Destiny Community Artist Group, which is basically all the fan artists out there. We kind of have them all grouped into one Discord and a Twitter page where, we all kind of talk and discuss things. So I basically run that whole thing with 2 other artists, and we have a blast doing that, and I get to see some of the best fan art in the world before it goes to Bungie's Creations page. And so, yeah, it's a really cool community to be a part of, and I'm really happy with it and what we've accomplished so far with how much we can share and learn from each other.
Destiny and the Destiny community has some of the most amazing artists, I think, found anywhere right now in the world.
Yeah, the guys that are doing, especially illustration. I mean, there's a couple, we have a couple of video editors in there, and then we have a couple designers in there, but most of what's in there is the illustrative guys, which would be Cobb One, Gamma Trap, Tyler Ryan, and a lot of these guys, they paint these portraits and lore pictures and everything, and they're just amazing. They're so ridiculous looking, and a lot of it looks like it's straight from the game. But I've watched these guys stream this art, and they draw it from scratch on a blank page to a finished thing, and it's just ridiculous, the skill and talent these people have.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. We're actually going to have Cobb One on next Sunday, and excited for that. We've had Farian on a few weeks back. We actually met Farian at the Dre event, and we actually met Cobb One there, and we didn't know it, and I didn't realize it because I've seen his art all the time, and so someone put up, it might have been you actually, I think. Did you put up a picture of you with him at the Guardian Con?
Yeah, I met Cobb One at Guardian Con, and actually met Jake Myler, who's also the Watermelon Exo, and then Carly Cartoons and Hostastic. They all kind of had booths there, and I met all of them. But yeah, Cobb One, it's funny because Cobb One didn't know who I was, and I was just kind of meandering around his booth, and I asked him some questions and kind of played it out a little bit that that we didn't know each other. And then I handed him my business card and showed him who I was and everything, and we hit it off really well. He's an amazing artist because he's a pen artist. He doesn't really do a lot of digital stuff. Most of his stuff is done with ink, and it's just ridiculous how fast he can do it and how well it looks when it's done.
Yeah, I was going to say that I've just been looking at some of the stuff that he does, and I haven't had a chance to watch him on Twitch actually do it live, which is one of the things that I really wanted to do. His art's pretty intense. It's very detailed, and from what you guys say, he's really quick at it. So he must be really skilled.
Yeah, he's really. Like I said, there's two. In this kind of world, there's a couple different kind of artists, and a lot of them do the digital art where they use Photoshop or Illustrator to do their art. That's what I use. But some of these guys can do it with paint or with ink or pencil or colored pencil, and it's amazing. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I've seen some artists post their work, and you look at it, and you can't even tell. Is it digital or is it pencil or whatever? And I mean, that's one of the biggest compliments you can pay to somebody, an artist like that. Yeah.
So you put up a picture with him, and so I saw it. I'm like, holy shit. He was sitting like literally right behind us at the event, and we actually spoke with him a little bit there, and I think we ran into him somewhere else. I don't know if it was at the Bungie after party. I think I was a little too lit to remember exactly who all we talked to there, but I know we talked to him at least twice. But yeah, I've caught his stream, been able to catch it I think like 3 times now, and just watched him draw on the stream, and it's really something pretty incredible and something really unique, seeing that art created. And like you said, with the ink, it's pretty phenomenal. So excited to have him on next week. And going to your page, and if you want to let everyone know where you can kind of be found as well, you've got some pretty cool stuff up there as well. I know that you also did the logo for the Dad Tales podcast, which I've always thought that was a cool logo, and I didn't see till I think yesterday that was one that you did.
Yeah, I've done Dad Tales, I've done Destiny Addicts, and I just do sometimes, and I do private work for some of the hosts and stuff as far as their pages go and their logos. But yeah, my website would be 414graphics.weebly.com, and I don't really have a lot on there. I've been so busy, it's been hard to keep up putting my art up there, but I have to one of these days, because after this affiliate thing and everyone getting sub buttons, I got to advertise myself a lot better than what I'm doing right now. But yeah, podcast logos and stuff like that are always fun to do. And it's really humbling for me, because this is what everybody sees on their their logo. The logo is what everyone sees on their phone or on their computer when they're listening to it. So it's really cool to have that, and to be able to work with these guys.
Yeah, it's some pretty neat stuff that you've done. We are glad to have all 3 of you here today to join us. And the first thing I guess I want to get to, I was going to start with the information they've shown on Destiny 2, but I want to real quickly go to clans and clan functionality in D2. And Mark, this is something that you wanted to discuss. And Jay, I know you are big into the clan with the Destiny Reset podcast clan, the Derp family. Random, are you in a clan at all or no?
I recently just joined one for a friend, but at the same time we were already we're wanting to kind of make a new one on Destiny 2. Like, none of us are really hardcore players. We're trying to see if we can get a bunch of like-minded casuals together, kind of have a little place of our own there.
Yeah. So you're all familiar with the clans, and it's something that Bungie came up with clans in Halo 2, and everyone since then has been, clamoring for it to be something that has actual integration within a game, which they are finally, all these years later going to do with Destiny 2. And so I'm going to want to get all three of your thoughts on just that and how you think it'll affect your play, and it being part of the game itself will change the experience. But also, Mark, I know you wanted to just talk about it and some of the stuff your clan does. And also that's how we met, because, talking about Destiny and what a social game it is, and you were talking about Luke Smith and saying it's, an opportunity to just hang out and play Destiny with your friends. It's something that we've talked about ad nauseam here, but again, it's probably one of the greatest things about this game. It has the best gunplay and the best character movement of anything I've ever played. But what makes this game go is the relationships it's able to create, and how you can just hang out, either playing or just standing in a tower, just talking with friends and being a character. And this game has connected people from all over the world and created so many friendships, relationships. There's a post up last week about a couple that met and got married and have a child, met playing Destiny. And when we met, Mark, it was because your clan came together, because we actually read one of your posts, your post of the week, I think 2 months ago. One of your clanmates, Bill, passed away, and your clan memorialized him in a video and also did a fundraiser stream for his family, which again, was something really incredible to see.
Yeah, thank you. It was a sad time, obviously. Bill had been a member of the clan for ages. We didn't really know how sick he was. A couple of his friends did, but hadn't shared that with the rest of us. And yeah, like you say, I mean, this community, the immediate community I have in the clan and the greater Bungie community out there, overwhelmingly is good. Unfortunately, it's the toxics which make all the noise and get all the press. But yeah, our clan has been together. The core group of us, we've been playing together for 2.5, coming up to nearly 3 years. It'll be soon, and it was just our opportunity to do something for him. I'm sure, like many of you, if you've got partners, you might be lucky enough to have someone who shares your interests, but others my missus looks at me, oh, you're playing that game again, and she doesn't quite realise the depth of the relationships within that game, in all honesty. Like most people, like I said, I was a solo game of 5 months, and you join a clan because, you want to find like-minded people to play the game with, so you don't have to use LFG sites, and that's how it starts. But, the clans and the friends which are playing over these years, it's you are friends. Destiny is just the place you meet up, instead of the local bar, it's, raid night on Friday night or Crucible on Sundays. That's where you meet up and hang out.
How many people do you have in your clan?
Well, we've had to expand. So we've got 100 in the main clan, and we've got about 80 in our second clan. We've also got an Unknown Redux Juniors, so children of clan members can kind of group up and hang out, and also us grown-up kids can help them out with raids and things occasionally. And recently we formed Unbroken Redux, which is our Iron Banner team, because I mentioned this to Sol before. We're big fans of a website called destinyclanwars.com. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
No, I haven't.
So it's been, I think it came around the time of Dark Below, so early 2015. And the guy who runs it, Dick Knack, I mean, he's done a great job, unheralded, unpaid, and, there's a lot of clans who are active on it and play it. So week to week, he'll pick an activity, so maybe Tuesday to Friday, it'll be Prison of Elders, for example, and he'll put some certain modifiers in there. So for grenade kills, you get 50 points. If your KD's below 1.0, you'll lose minus 50%. So all these different modifiers which work off your base score to give you a final score as a player. And always you'll get a 5% plus modifier for every clan member in your fire team. So it really encourages you to, group up with your clan members and fire it. And these activities are quite fun, but the biggest one they do has always been Iron Banner Week on Clan Wars, and that gets quite hotly contested, and we've been doing that for years now.
So they just take your, go through the final stats off of your stat page and score you out and put you against other clans kind of in a tournament, or what? How's it work?
Yeah, exactly that. So, however many are in your clan, you'll all register towards your clan score. So all these various modifiers, some are harder than others, some are easier. Sometimes, it'll be Iron Banner control and you'll get massive bonus points for using a scout rifle or a hand cannon or a shotgun, just as one modifier, and then you'll get other modifiers for melee kills or something. So, it encourages you to play different. And then, it takes your base score from, it just pulls Destiny's API and takes your base score and applies these modifiers to it. So I think, Mayhem Clash was the most recent IV, which is a pretty high-scoring game mode anyway. So I think finishing score as a clan was 178 million. Oh, in first place, by the way, naturally.
It kind of sounds like fantasy sports for Destiny.
Well, it's, like I said, you join a clan because you want people to play with, and it's always great when there's new content. But then, when you come to periods like this where you're just eagerly awaiting the next release, you're just kind of, we're helping other people complete raids and finish nodes in their book. But Iron Banner Clan Wars has been a way we used over the years just to kind of pull the clan together, once a month, once every 6 weeks, however often Iron Banner comes. And it just gets everyone playing again. And obviously, we are casual players, but you're always going to be a bit competitive. So, you play a little bit longer, you grind a little bit longer, so you stay on a bit longer. And especially in these weeks, I find myself playing with people I haven't played with, since last Iron Banner, and it's just a good way to, reach out, connect, have a few beers, complain about the lag, get beat up, but, have fun doing it, as a clan. That's the whole point of it. We do it as a team, we go in as a clan, and, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but it's always good fun with your friends by your side.
Well, I think it's interesting that you guys have creative ways to sort of allow yourselves to compete against each other. We had someone a couple of weeks ago talk about the different type of game modes that they create within their clan and how they compete, and it just goes beyond what Destiny offers. There's not really any scoring, or you don't really know other than what you're doing within your friends and how you're competing against each other. But when you guys combine like these games that you create and even go into private matches and do these like little mini tournaments, it's kind of interesting. I mean, you could probably have, I know at Guardian Con they had, you could watch Twitch and they had their clans, or they had people like going up against each other in PvP, and to me that was actually fun to watch. I mean, it was actually interesting to see some of these really good players. And, it doesn't have to be really good players, but, to see some of that being televised, I kind of wish that Bungie or someone could kind of create this sort of tournaments more frequently and do it on Twitch. I think I know I would enjoy watching it. So some of that stuff, you get kind of lost in how you guys go about doing these games and things against each other, but I kind of wish some of it was televised.
They could totally, and someone out there could really make Destiny into after listening to this, a fantasy sport. If they were to do a Twitch league, you could 100% with the scoring you're talking about, Mark, and what this gentleman you're talking about has set up with his site, assigning points. You could have the teams. You've got the triple rec team and the true Vanguard team or whatever, and draft players and go off their scores and do fantasy tournaments with Destiny. It's something that 100% could be done and probably make boatloads of money.
I was going to say, I think you can, once the PC community joins in D2, I think you're going to see it skyrocket as far as what they're going to be doing in tournaments.
Yeah, I could definitely see the PC crowd is going to be huge in a tournaments, which I think is a good thing. I kind of think that, if we had a little bit more of a professional sort of competition that was a little bit, more focused and predictable, like, when you could watch it or when it would be announced and people would play in it, I think it would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the way Bungie and Destiny have always done this, they release their API so people can provide all these third-party support, which is great. But it would be nice for some of these things to come in game, which hopefully in D2 we may see, because they're hopefully pushing on clans. But for example, I can't remember at which update, but they added scoring to strikes and things like that, but never really did anything with it. It'd be very easy just to have several league tables in game. Who did the fastest nightfall this week? Who did the fastest raid completion? Who had the highest score doing Skolos on Prison of Elders. They did do it a little bit in the weekly update, I remember about a year ago, but then that kind of disappeared. But all these little things like that, they help, which I'm all about, is get the clan playing together, getting a little bit more competitive. If you see you're in 200th place and you're 1 second out from jumping 50 places, you'll go back in and try and nail that time down and get a better score.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I never really understood about Destiny and the scoring is they had like so much scoring and statistics in Halo, and they just don't really do that in Destiny, and I never really could understand why that was. Yeah,
I mean, Halo 3 was the last time I played online with other people, really, up until Destiny. Obviously I dipped in and tried Call of Duty and other games online, and then swiftly got the hell back out of there because I don't like being called rude names by some 12-year-old kid from Arkansas.
No? I thought everyone wanted to play online multiplayer shooters to get demeaned and called names by 12-year-old kids from Arkansas.
Yeah, quite so. It seems to be the trend in most online games. But like I say, it was that gap between Halo 3 and Destiny where I just wouldn't consider playing online games, and speaking with people while you play the game, speaking with, strangers to start with. And, we keep going back to it, but that's a wonderful thing about Destiny, Bungie and the community, that once you do actually reach out, as long as you reach out in the right direction, you will find like-minded people who, share your love of the game, share your interest in life, and, most importantly, just want to have fun while you play.
So, Jay, you are a part of the Derp family. Do you play a lot in game with other members of that community, or how does your community function? I
play exclusively with Derp fam, pretty much. We have I don't even know the number right now. I want to say about 1,500 members in a bunch of different sub clans. I'm actually one of them. I'm a member of the original 100. We call it the OG clan. Yeah, I play with those people pretty much well exclusive. I know some streamers and stuff that are outside of that, but most of what I play with is with those guys and girls. I'm kind of the comedic relief for everybody, and I'm so bad at this game that a lot of times people, I come in and it's just kind of funny. People invite me in to play in trials or raids or whatnot, and they know I'm going to die a lot, and we just have so much fun and laugh a lot. I don't take this game very seriously. I never have. I just kind of play for the fun of it, but we do have a good time, and it's a huge community, and it's an amazing group of people. Our main admins of the group, the hosts of the podcast, Arrow Knight and Cyborg Sasquatch, are two of the best people in the world, and they're really good friends of mine. And what they promote and how they promote our clan, and how they kind of established everything, it's amazing, and it's brought so much positivity to the community, and I love doing it. We always say, our motto is to hold the salt. We don't get mad at each other. We don't, we never get salty towards each other, and that's such a huge deal. And like what you were talking about before about people talking trash to you while you're playing, we don't do that. If you're doing a raid, you help each other. You don't demean each other. It's such a big deal nowadays with this. But then again, none of us really do. We don't take this game all that seriously. We just play it for fun. We get together with our friends. We drink some beers and play, and it's a great time. I love my group. I would never leave this group again to go anywhere else.
So the Giggle Squad.
The Giggle Squad was a subgroup. That's funny that you bring that up. There's two girls that I play with, Hellcat 914 and Got Turkey, and we obviously we met in the clan somewhere, and we started playing together. We would kind of play, drink a little bit, and just play horribly and just laugh. We just have a blast. It's so much fun. And we'll play Iron Banner or whatever. We'll get some other people in with us, and it's such a riot. It's the best part about this game is just having fun on a Friday night or a Saturday night with your friends. And the two girls that I play with are now I think we just kind of do it just to do it like that. Like we just kind of all get together because we purposely get the Giggle Squad together to play. But it's just basically us drinking and failing miserably at the game and laughing at each other in a positive way. But it's just so much fun.
So that's weird because I'd like occasionally to have some wine and do a raid, and RWG knows that I'm super clutch when we do that.
Yeah, so the people that I've been playing with, two really great friends of mine, and I have been playing for probably about 8 years together, and through Halo and whatever. And the two people that I play with, or I've played with, and I basically learned most of my gaming style from, are pretty serious gamers. And so I kind of grew up in that kind of lifestyle where, you're not serious, but, you try to improve what you're doing. And because I'm the weakest link of the three of us, I tend to get a lot of feedback from both of them in my play style. So I've sort of grown up in a serious sort of gaming experience where I'm really focused. I don't really like to talk a lot because I'm focused on what I'm doing and whoever else I need to cover as part of, especially like in a raid. But I also do enjoy to have drinks and then joke around or whatever. But in those cases, I know I'm not going to be very productive. So I've had a lot of people say to me that kind of join my group, you guys are really serious, and it's sometimes not fun for people who are kind of lighthearted and like to joke around and play and don't really pay attention a lot. It's difficult for those people to sort of acclimate because the group of friends that I play with are so like intense, and it doesn't really work for a lot of people I know that I've been playing with. But I kind of like it that way. Like I like to be able to know that I'm doing the best thing that I can possibly do, and I also know that for the hardest or the most difficult games that I play, not just in Destiny, the harder levels that you're doing, that it does take a bit of concentration and focus to get those things done, and a lot of people aren't able to get past those higher things because they're not focused and they're screwing around. And I know, and sometimes when I go in an LFG experience and I play with people who are kind of screwing around and slowing us down, or they take an extra effort to kind of do things, it's because they're not really focused. So I don't know if I'm just playing the games wrong and I'm not really enjoying myself, or it's been something that I've been thinking about lately about what is it to be a gamer, and am I actually enjoying myself in this, or am I just taking myself way too serious? And I don't know, I kind of have mixed feelings on it, but I envy the people that can just go into a game and screw around. I mean, I kind of do that in Grand Theft Auto. That's one game that I can go in and I laugh all the time because I never take that game serious, but I suppose if I started to get really serious about it, then I wouldn't probably enjoy it as much. But Destiny is one game that I've gotten too serious about, and I haven't really sat back and enjoyed myself more. And I kind of wish that I wasn't like that, but I am.
Well, see, next time we raid, you just need to get a glass of wine too, because there's nothing like a glass of wine and going and killing Oryx for a good time on a Friday night.
Yeah, but the problem is that while you're drinking your glass of wine and missing every shot, I'm having to do cleanup and take care of myself and you, and that's the part
missing every shot. Oh my God, it doesn't happen like that. I'm running the spark, freaking saving everyone's ass left and right. Yep.
Yeah, that's not really happening, but.
See, we actually have nights where we'll get it together and we'll get a group of 6 to do a raid, and like the prerequisite is you have to be already pretty drunk to even join in and play. So we do that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I've played, when I've drank, my level just goes down incredibly low. Like, I'm just useless. I mean, especially in PvP, I mean, I can't see anybody around me. I'm shooting at walls. I have no clue what's going on. I get like one kill, and I get annoyed with myself if I play really badly, so I don't really like to drink and play, so that's kind of a downer, but only in those cases. Like in other games, like where, it doesn't count, I don't care about drinking, but, for me, I have to, because I'm an older gamer, so I have to be, my hand-eye coordination is already at a handicap, so I really need to have that clear head to get through a game.
So I wanted to ask you real quickly, Jay, with the upcoming clan integration for Destiny 2, what are your thoughts on that, and how do you think that will change, if anything, your experience with the game and just overall what you think it'll bring to the game?
I don't think it's really going to change much. I think our core group is so already tightly knit. I don't know. To be honest, I haven't really read in... I don't really read into Destiny 2 all that much right now. I don't care about spoilers. I mean, people tell me stuff all the time. I've obviously seen some things, but for the most part, I haven't really looked into Destiny 2 as much. I want to kind of experience it with fresh eyes all the way around. I want to learn it just like I learned D1. So, as far as the clan integration goes, I actually think it's going to bring people, I mean, it's going to be a little more organized, it sounds like, and might, bring people a little closer together, maybe make it easier to join clans. I think the days of going into a raid and saying, well, you have to have a Galahorn and be level so and so, or like go to trials and you have to have a certain elo to get in, where there was all these prerequisites to join a group or join a clan. I think those days are going to kind of start to go away, and it's going to be a lot more open. But I think at the same time you might find some more elite clans, that might have tryouts and I think it'll open up some doors for that kind of group. But I think it'll allow the player to kind of choose their experience of what they want to do. Do you want to join, a casual group, and you can find those. Do you want to join a diehard, really sweaty team for trials and stuff and try to get into a clan that way? That's cool. I think it's going to organize it and maybe make it a little more available to people as far as I'm concerned.
Do you play every day, or do you just play like once a week, or how do you kind of play your game? And have you done the raids and a lot of PvP, or how do you play?
I pretty much the way I did it was I used to play every day. You can ask my wife. It's been insane. I used to play every single day, every single night, and I would stay up until all hours of the night playing. With my art now and doing that, I have a lot less time, so I only play on the weekends. And usually the weekends, I usually only play trials. I do have a character that I constantly erase and start over again, so I can play the story when I kind of get bored with it, and my third character, I do not play a warlock. I play 2 hunters and a titan. My second hunter, I erase constantly and start from the beginning and play the game through again. And I do that on my own. I don't, or maybe with a group sometimes. But it's just for fun. But I play a lot more casually now, and I just jump in with some friends. We play a trials card or something, or some Iron Banner or whatever, and then I'm out. I kind of come and go pretty freely right now. I used to be, you'd almost see me every night back in the day. So. But, I got burned out on it, like everybody else did. So now this is a little bit better for myself as far as I can do my art during the week and spend my week with my family. And then on the weekends, I can jump on for a little while, play for a little bit, and then wait until next weekend again.
And how about you, Random? How do you play?
To be honest, we don't really have a core group anymore. Right after I started playing, I swapped over to working night shift, so I lost contact with the most of the group we played with. I mean, it's hard to do on different schedules, and around the time that House of Wolves came out, I actually got my stepdad hooked on playing, so we kind of became a two-man group on most of the stuff. He hasn't got to do a single raid yet, and I think I only got to do a few in year one, so I mean, we're still wanting to try to do that, but it's really hard to find like a group that's available at the same time as we are. I mean, we've tried, but it's a pain.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that maybe having the way that the new clans set up are, where you can sort of pick to, do something, like they're coming out with, that maybe your off times would be a good time to maybe hook up with that kind of a situation. Do you think that's something that you would utilize?
I'm cautiously optimistic about the guided games. I think it's going to be a really good system early on, because, I mean, when a game first comes out, it's less of a toxic community, and you've got everybody that's wanting to explore all this new content and, share that experience with other players. But as we've seen on the Destiny community for the past few years, after, the content drought kind of starts to weigh in, more of the elite kind of come in, and I really hope that the guided games doesn't end up looking a lot like the LFG sites. I hope not.
Yeah, one of the LFG sites that I used, and that I'm a member of, is the 100. I think it's I've never really had a bad experience there, and a lot of the people are really flexible, and you can sort of set up the time that you're going to be available. So for example, if you're a late night player or the off hours player, you can just set up that 8 hours in advance, days in advance, and have people join. And the people in that community seem to be pretty, mature. And and like I said, a lot of the friends that I've gained on my friends list have come from there, and they're pretty dependable. So the guided games thing to me is just, I don't really fully understand how it's going to work. I've seen some explanations on it, and I think it's going to be a positive thing, but I don't know if it's something that would drive people to be consistently gaining, regular friends from, maybe, but I don't know.
I honestly think it's going to push more people to join clans, and that can be a really good thing. I mean, I'll feel bad for the more solo players. I know there are some people that they just want to get on and play the game. They don't really, want to make friends. They want to have something to play in their off time. But after seeing, I don't think we've seen exactly what you're going to get, but I keep hearing the words clan rewards, which tells me there's going to be more incentive to be in a clan and instead of being a solo player.
My hope with the clan rewards is that we were discussing this on our last episode before our little hiatus, and one of the topics was how much people would be using the guided games once you got to the hard mode raids being released and everyone started running hard mode, because it's just going to be for normal mode content. Something that was brought up after that episode is that, there's nothing to stop clans from, when they put up their post, to say, hey, we're going to be running hard mode, and then grouping up and then just getting together and switching to hard mode. So there is that, but my thought was they could use whatever these clan rewards are as incentives to get clans to, throughout the week, run through solo players with the guided games, and if they do it, build up to where the whole clan could get, some kind of drop or some kind of, experience bonus or whatever through the clan going and helping out and running random players through.
Well, one of the things that I'm sort of in agreement with Jay Howard is I have not watched any of the reveals since we went to the Destiny 2 reveal. I pretty much have stayed away from all of IGN's public YouTube videos and everyone else who has come out and really has scrutinized a lot of the D2 content, because some of it I think is really speculative, and the rest of it is I really want to kind of go into it blindly. I want to know, I want to learn everything. I want to see everything for myself. When it first comes out, I want to understand how to build my character, and I just don't feel like, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I just feel like there's been a lot of reveals that have come out the last few weeks, to try to get everybody really excited for the D2 content. And I understand why they do it, but how else have you guys been doing it? Have you guys been sort of staying away from it and just kind of, looking away when it comes up, or how have you guys been handling it?
I've been trying to watch as much of it as I can. I like a good surprise every now and then, but there's some information that I just want to have going into it. I don't want the story ruined or anything like that, but my favorite thing from Destiny was the gunplay and the classes. I loved both of those systems, and when I saw on the forums that stuff had been changed, I wanted to, see what they had done, see if I was going to like that system as much as the current one.
See, I never played first-person shooters really before Destiny. I'm a fighting game person, and I know that's also blasphemous, but I was a big fighting game player, and then I didn't know what Destiny was when I bought it. My friend bought it, and he told me about it, and he was like, "Oh, you got to get this game. It's really cool, and then you can play it, with friends and everything." So I had no idea what I was getting into, and so when I first loaded the game up, I never played Borderlands. I never really played Halo. I didn't know about weapon leveling and number leveling and stuff like that, or classes and stuff. I had no idea, and I think that's why I fell in love with the game so much, was because I learned it as I went. And when I first stumbled upon people playing and shooting at the loot cave, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what they were doing, and I didn't even know that I could message them to ask them what they were doing. I just sat there and shot them, and then I was like, oh, what are these things I can pick up? So I was totally ignorant and naive to the game itself, but like I said, I think that's why I fell so much in love with it, was because I didn't know anything about it, and it was so new to me. The whole experience was new. The game was new. A lot of people, they played Halo and they played Call of Duty. I never did, so I didn't know what a first-person shooter looked like or how it acted or how the gunplay was. I had nothing to compare it to, and I think that's why with D2 I didn't want to see anything, because I don't want any preconceived notion on what this game is going to be like. Yeah, of course I know there's going to be hunters and titans, and there's going to be Cabal we're fighting. I know all that, but as far as the mechanics of the game, what changed and all that, I want to learn that on the fly. I want to learn that when I first load it up. I want to go through a mission, and I want to learn it as I go. I probably will play solo for the first couple months of the game. I probably won't even play with my clan for a little while, because I want to experience it by myself, and as free as I can.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it too. You just don't really, you can't really make a decision or get the real gist of something unless you experience it for yourself. I've seen so many people, just come to the conclusion that everything is just, going to be bad, or it's going to be great, or, there's all these opinions, and it's just I can't understand how you can even get to that point unless you've actually experienced it for yourself. Even the little bit of gameplay that we played at D2, I still don't feel like I completely got the gist of it. I'm a pulse rifle user, and I walked away from it hating pulse rifles, and that just doesn't seem right to me. I feel like I didn't have the right setup, or the gun tree wasn't right for me, or I don't know what was happening. It could have just been I was all wrapped up in the moment, but I kind of feel the same way. We need to be able to just go in, and I'm hoping that the beta will give us enough feel for how it will load out when we start D2, because that's really what I'm looking forward to, is the beta. Hyatt, what did you think about it?
Well, I'm super excited for the beta coming up. I'm sure, like everyone else, you downloaded it this week and you pressed the button and you saw the cool little logos and then the Destiny 2 screen with the title music. I think I must have clicked onto that about 6 times, just in the hope that it would magically enter me into the game before everyone, but it didn't. But I was talking about this with the guys the other day, if you remember back to the original Destiny beta, they showed too much for that. They put all the Earth story missions in, the Earth strike. At the weekend, you could go to the moon. So pretty much in the course of 5 days, you could explore all the Cosmodrome, all the Earth, and all the moon, which is at the time was like half the available space in the game. So I really think they show too much. This one looks a lot more of a taster. You've got that story mission, the homecoming story mission, which is in the early part of the game. You've got a strike, and you've got a couple of PvP modes with a map designed for each. I think that's perfect amount of content, which will let me, even though I do main a striker, I'm looking forward to, just have a taste of all the subclasses. And, not all the guns are unlocked, not all the class trees unlocked, so there will be plenty to see once you get in the game, but I think it'll be enough of a taster, to get people super excited for September.
Well, what I was interested in is, and what I have seen, I can kind of answer it for myself, but the fact that this is going to be a sequel to a game, or it's going to be an extension of Destiny 1. And I always compare it to when I did play Halo, you have the Halo games, and then when you had Halo Reach come out, that was same but different, completely different game. And so, I want this just to kind of be an extension of Destiny 1 with improvements. They listen to the community. They know what we like, what we want now. They kind of have that under their belt, so they can work with that. And that's what I'm most looking forward to, is that, okay, is this going to feel the same way as Destiny 1 did? The game that I fell so much in love with, is this going to feel the same way? Is it going to play the same way? Maybe with improved. I didn't want this to be a completely different game altogether, where it was foreign. They changed so much. I mean, I know they changed some stuff with PvP as far as the ammo and how that all works. But see, that to us is going to be foreign, because when we go into trials, what your loadout's going to be, what you're going to play. Now you have to designate a sniper, you have to designate a shotgun runner, and you have to do these things and make these decisions. I think it's going to be good. I think that's an improvement. I don't think that that's foreign to the point of this is going to be a brand new game. It's going to be a brand new PvP. I think it's just an improvement. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to, is seeing how they kept things the same and how they just improved on things, rather than, this is going to be a completely new game. We're going to have to relearn the entire game and the system all over again, and all that. I don't know. I guess that's just my opinion on it.
I'm glad I'm not the only one really excited about the new ammo economy. When I heard they put sniper rifles and fusion rifles all down there with new rocket launchers, my first thought was, okay, I don't know how that's going to play. It's different. I'll have to check it out. But I think last week, somebody posted a video talking about locked loadouts. And to me, that sounds really cool with the new ammo economy, because if it's on, for example, a Nightfall, we don't know what it's on yet, but to me, that could make it way more challenging. You have to designate to your group, okay, he's going to be our sniper, he's going to be this, actually make you work, coordinate more as a team. I really like the idea of that.
Yeah, but Paul Tassi did an article a couple weeks ago about the locked loadouts thing, and the sort of the vanilla weapons that are coming out. Look, there's not going to be any more god rolls. Everyone's going to get the same gun. And I kind of feel like they're just kind of taking that really broad kind of way that you could play, and they're kind of pigeonholing everything. And that kind of seems restrictive to me in a way that seems different. I don't know if that's an improvement. It might be in PvP, but kind of in the raids and things like that, I don't really want to be the only one who's the sniper, or maybe only have two people that are a sniper. I kind of want to be able to have the flexibility of kind of changing my loadout. So I'm kind of hoping that it's not that way in PvE. I can see why they would do that in PvP. They do that, in almost all games. You get a drop, and then, someone runs to get the, one special weapon, and then that's it. So I kind of understand how that would work in PvP, but for PvE, I kind of feel like that's sort of constraining.
The one thing I don't like about Destiny, and I don't know how much heat I can get for this, but I know it's a common idea in the community, but I don't like the fact that, for one, that PvP controls or can control the game, and I also don't like the fact that the community doesn't they don't. People who are good at a gun type, if they're good at a sniper, you're good at a shotgun. People that are good, if this was a balanced game, then that should not be punished. I think that if you're a good sniper, you should be able to be a good sniper. And I think that in the new version of this, I think the new PvP when it comes out, I think it's going to really push that issue of the snipers are going to be snipers, and you're going to have that sniper ringer on your team, and it's not going to be punished. It's not, he's going to be your guy. Right now it's like the community, complains like, oh, that the game's broken and stuff, and maybe it is to some people, but they also complain because they're not good at a weapon type, and they don't feel like they should be beaten by a weapon type. They want to play on a level playing field. Well, that's fine in some respect, but now it's going to level the playing field out. You're going to have your good sniper on your team. You're going to have a good shotgunner on a team or whatever, and I don't think that people are going to have those same complaints anymore, because what you're going into when you go into it. There's going to be one sniper. It's not going to be a team of icebreakers. It's not going to be a team of shotgunners. It's going to be one sniper or whatever. And, I think that's really going to help. And I don't think that it should. I agree with RedWingGirl that it, in PvP, if I'm going into a raid, I should be able to switch between whatever guns I want, not have a locked loadout. But, it's new. That's something new to us. Maybe we'll like it better. We don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, it's difficult to have a judgment on this because, first of all, we don't even know if it's going to affect PvE, and if it does, we don't know if it'll be good or bad, I just kind of feel like by moving like all the special and everything down with the heavy, you're just, you have to give up your fusion rifle for a grenade launcher, or, I mean, that kind of, to me, kind of sucks. Like, I want to be able to use both. And I'm referring to PvP in that aspect. Like if I want to be able to use a fusion rifle, but I also want to use a machine gun, I guess I have to make a choice now. And to me, that just sounds a little limiting. And I know it's because, they've moved up, a couple other guns with primaries. You could have a hand cannon with a scout, for example. And so they're sort of like splitting the two where you do have two options. But I don't know. I guess we just have to wait and see what's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm looking forward to the options, but I think the biggest thing it's going to hurt is just, the experimentation and the fun you can have with games. Because, I mean, how many times have you had a hand cannon drop from the Crucible and the perks look okay, so you want to run with it? Or, when Longbow was dropping all the time, you'd be checking the perks, and you'd go into PvP and give it a try or whatever. But, with the way it's set up in D2, you can't do that. If you've got a sniper rifle and you're the only person on your team who can pick up sniper power ammo or whatever it's called, you just don't have the time to play or experiment or fool around with these guns. You'll have to go with the guns you know and trust, unless they put a gun range in the social space. That would be awesome.
I put up a post. They showed the tour of the farm, and they showed Shax's red jacks, and I just speculated, could this be something where we're going to have some kind of, shooting range or training ground, and those will be part of it. And it's something that was asked about ad nausea over at least the first 2 years, maybe not so much in year 3, but a shooting range in the tower. It used to be on the old community wish list as one of the top 10 asked for things, and I got crucified on the forums for asking, for speculating, are we getting a shooting range with D2, and everyone said, just go to fucking PvE to patrol. Just go to patrol, that's what patrol's for. Just go to patrol. And it's like, no one asked for that. It's like, okay, well, whatever. So I guess people don't want it anymore. Either that or just a bunch of salty fuckers on the forums. But, that could be that too.
Well, I think what Mark was saying makes a lot of sense too. I mean, you're going to lose the chase. You're not, everyone's trying to get that God roll palindrome. Everyone's trying to get that God roll longbow. And if everybody has the same gun, nobody's going to chase anymore. And that's, I like, same thing. Maybe we don't know that yet, but as far as I'm concerned, I love chasing guns. And I think that's one of my favorite parts of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that was my thing too. That was the other thing that Tassi had pointed out, was that, there won't be any more guns that are going to drop with different roles. And for me, that's the same thing. Like, I've got like 4 or 5 palindromes that, for whatever reason, I want to either use them and check them out and see if those roles are better for me or not, or I want to keep them for different, one for PvE and one for PvP. Now it's kind of like, I mean, it just reduces the RNG thing, which I guess is probably a good thing, but it's kind of the same thing for me too. It's like, oh, okay, so now every gun is going to be the same. That just seems sort of, kind of boring.
I think it will put more emphasis on exotics and hopefully make them feel a bit more special because, the extra perks that they come with, the specialist perks, will be more useful, and the choice of them, whether in PvP or PvE, will make a bigger difference compared to the average gun. But speaking of exotics, I wanted to know your thoughts because, I love the grind. I love the chase. Year one, when you got an exotic, any exotic, it was a massive deal. Everyone can remember their first exotic, whether they brought it from Xur or you were last place in a Crucible match and got Galahorn, those old stories. But I feel
Smoggy
in year
Pluto.
two, and
God bless his soul.
Smoggy Pluto, indeed. But yeah, I feel in year two, year three, aside from the specialist missions like Black Spindle, the chase for exotics hasn't felt that great. With the engrams, within a week or two, or maybe a month tops, I've got all the exotics. Where's the fun in the chase? I thought year one, even though they were a lot harder to get, when you got an exotic, it was a big, big deal.
3 of Coins absolutely ruined that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I just think that I think that with as far as exotics go, I think they should. I think I think they said that they were going to make the drops like this more feel like an exotic drop, because exotics, all the perks are the same all the time. I just think that if they're going to do these things with drops and stuff, that they should make the perks a lot more relevant. So if you have a sniper that will drop with snapshot and hidden hand or whatever, then get rid of aim assist and all that stuff and make it more like the perks that are dropping with it.
Okay, well, I'm going to go total Bungie apologist right here. And so right now, queue up 50 posts calling me Bungie cocksucker. But so here's my take on this. So to the weapons, we don't know what's coming. So we know that there's going to be set rolls. So a palindrome will be a palindrome and everyone will have the same one. But what if that opens it up to where instead of there being Palindrome and IS Luna and maybe one other of that, God impact rate of fire hand cannon, what if there's 20 or 30 different ones, all of that impact and that rate of fire, all with different perk setups? So instead of chasing a palindrome with the perfect roll, you're chasing an actual gun. You're chasing the whatever, and so it's not the god roll of one where, and again, so you're going into the Crucible now, and everyone's got a fucking palindrome. They might be 6 different palindromes. Someone might be using, Luck in the Chamber. Someone might have Firefly. Someone might have explosive rounds. Whatever, But you keep seeing yourself dying to palindrome over and over and over again. And, palindrome's OP. Well, Nerwin's Mercy's OP. Grasp is OP. Because that's all people see in the kill feed is the one gun. It might be 7 different versions, 8 different versions, however many different combinations of one gun. But because there's only 2 or 3 in that that archetype, when that's all you see in the kill feed, well, it's OP. So to that extent, if there are just a massive amount of different weapons, just so many more we can get, it's going to up the variety of what we see in the kill feed and hopefully get rid of a lot of the nerf post bullshit that's gone on in D1. And to what you were just saying, Jay, about like the snipers, and I think Mark, you were saying it too. Let's be real here. If a sniper drops, if it's a low impact, high rate of fire sniper, is anyone really excited about it in this game? Is anyone excited about a low impact hand cannon? These are weapons that are just throwaways. They're instant armor materials. Fusion rifles. If I get a fusion rifle, I've got fusion rifles will drop for me all day long. If it's a low impact, high rate of fire fusion rifle, I'm not doing anything with it. It's a piece of trash, so it's an instant dismantle. Those are weapons that when you have a good one, you're not really chasing. If you have a good high impact sniper, if you have a Black Spindle, if you have a 1,000-yard stare or whatever, you're not really chasing another sniper rifle, because it doesn't matter what you get. Maybe you'll get a better perk here or there. Oh, look, I got Firefly on this one. But honestly, a high impact sniper is a high impact sniper. A high impact fusion is a high impact fusion. And so I see this as a way that it can open up the variety in the game. And again, who knows how they're going to do it. Maybe I'm completely off base, but what I see is that there's going to be just a great variety of weapons, because the game is still about the grind and it's still about the loot. So it doesn't make sense for us to play for the same, 3 of each archetype and they're all the same gun. So to me, it just seems like there's going to just be a massive amount more. So we'll be chasing guns instead of rolls. And then to the exotics, Mark, from the little we played, my favorite weapon I used at the reveal event was the exotic hand cannon in the strike, and it was the best exotic I think I've ever used. I mean, it truly felt exotic. I mean, it had basically the icebreaker perk on a hand cannon. Every kill, the enemy exploded, and it was just so much fun, and I just laughed the entire time. I mean, because it was just stupid how fun it was. So I don't know everyone's thoughts on that, and Bungie apologists, signing off, but that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned, the 3 coins, I understand why they brought that into the game for the more casual player who, mainly only comes at the weekends and plays a couple of hours every week. But they kind of introduced it late into Destiny's lifespan, and it did just make exotics too easy to get. I've no doubt the exotics that we've got coming in D2 are absolutely fantastic, but, I'm hoping that when you get a drop, it feels special. Feels earned, or whatever, as opposed to just picking it up from zero on a Friday or cashing in 20 engrams. But in terms of the weapon variety, like you mentioned, I mean, the amazing thing about Bungie is the attention to detail on every gun, and I get killed a lot in PvP, so I can pretty much tell what I get killed by just by the impact or the noise of the bullets whizzing by me. Every gun feels unique. I would say to them, maybe not invest so much time and effort into the hundreds and hundreds of white, green, and blue weapons and armor that they create, all, equally unique with their own certain stats.
Or let us upgrade them to legendaries.
Well, yeah, I mean, they only exist when you're leveling up a character. So, if your level 8 sniper gets replaced by a level 10 fusion rifle, you can run with a fusion rifle. But as I'm sure Bungie have a plan for this, because I mean, one of the common complaints in year 1 and going forward was, every player looks the same, everyone's using the same weapons. It could be that instead of the perks being on the weapons, there's more focus on perks on the armor. Maybe using certain gauntlets give you extra range, or a different helmet gives you better accuracy. We don't know what they're going to do, but I'm sure they have thought about it.
Well, one of the things that I was talking about with my group of friends is, why is there a farm? Why are we going to a farm? And so I'm thinking, well, do we have to grow our own materials, or, there's going to be chickens in the farm, but what else? Why did they pick a farm? I don't really understand that.
Because chickens.
Do you think that's the only reason? I mean, do you think there's anything behind a farm, or
They're
what?
Walking Dead fans.
In all honesty, I think returning to the European Dead Zone, I think they had a lot of maybe, art they were working on or stuff they already had. So, they're using these assets, in all honesty. But, as long as it makes sense to the story in the game, and the social space is a bit more intriguing than the tower with a bit more opportunities, gun range, I don't mind. And, we get to chase chickens in our spare time. Makes a change from soccer.
Well, when they opened up the space with the wolves, I don't know why I can't think of the name now, I was hoping that we would be able to interact with the wolves. Yeah, but we didn't. So, kind of, it's like you imagine all these things. Like, I thought, oh, cool, we're going to have pets. We'll be able to have a wolf fight with us, or when we go to the tower, we'll be able to have emotes that we can interact with the wolves. But that never turns out to be the case, and it seems like such a missed opportunity. So it's just kind of weird to me that they've picked a farm.
I honestly thought they just picked the farm because if you think about it, they just lost the tower, which means the last city is probably in shambles as well, with the tower falling, or parts of it. And I mean, you can grow crops there.
Yeah, I would choose somewhere slightly easier to defend than a green field with some chickens.
At the same time, though, I mean, if you're running for your life, how picky are you really going to be?
True. But no, I mean, I Bungie, all their design spaces, they are really good at this stuff. So I think the world will feel different, even though it's Earth. There'll be, new areas of our Earth. That big broken shard in the distance looks fascinating. Like everyone, I just can't wait to get in there and, explore a little bit of this space and see it for myself.
What if they're the strange mutant chickens hiding in the clouds in the preview for Stranger Things 2, though?
That would make my year.
I'm beginning to think I'm the only one in this group that's excited that I just have a soccer field now.
No, I'm all about the soccer field too.
I'm not excited about it because I know RedWingGirl will never let me get to the ball, so she's going to be a ball hog, scoring all the goals.
Right. I actually think it's a cool idea. I hope they make games out of it, like they did kind of in Reach. They had those goofy games.
Yeah, and I'm just looking for wasting more and more pointless hours just goofing around with my friends in the farm instead of the tower. I mean, I'm literally scared if I looked how much actual time I spent in the tower doing stupid stuff. Climbing on the fan, climbing up the tree, chasing people, doing little conga lines, having dance parties, just running around generally being an idiot.
I spend hours running in circles and jumping like in patterns on the squares on the floor. That's so I'm desperately hoping for a shooting range, and I know that it was met with a lot of negativity when I questioned that, but I think it would be something that would really be cool because, I mean, if you look at what the addition of private matches allowed for players as far as weapon testing to actually be able to go in a non-combat environment against enemies that weren't on patrol, shooting back to where you were shooting at walls to test bullet spread and whatnot, to be able to go into those private matches and see where you could, see where the quote-unquote ghost bullets and the misses came in with hand cannons, and see the actual effective ranges on the different guns and the damage numbers you were doing from different distances. That would be something that would be really cool to have, where if the vault system there was tied in, where you could easily swap between all your weapons right there, and they could put in mini games and challenges, best times of the week to complete, if they had some kind of different moving targets or whatever. But they could really expand on it and do something really fun, I think, with it. So it's something I hope they are exploring, if not doing right away.
They actually have something exactly like what you're talking about on 2 other games. I mean, similar shooters that were really fun. I mean, I know this is a Division, I read a Destiny chat, but they had a shooting range on the Division that worked good. And if any of you have played Overwatch, that was really helpful to, before you go into an actual match or something difficult, to just test it out, see how your stuff's going to be. I mean, it was a really good thing on there. I hope they add something like that to Destiny. I think it'd be a great addition too.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that we would be able to change our existing character before import, but I guess that's not an option. You have to start over. But that was another thing that people had asked about, and I was brutally attacked for asking for it.
Yeah, it's funny, all these things that everyone asked for in year 1 and 2 of this game, things that we're getting are now getting just absolutely just poo-pooed on the forums, and everyone's like, yeah, well, whatever, and other things that we're not sure, everyone's like, well, we don't need that, we don't want that. And it's like, I don't know, I've been on the forums for a long time. I've been on Bungie.net for I think 9 years, probably maybe 10 now. I haven't looked recently, see if I hit the 10-year mark. But Jesus, it's like a completely different world, like what people wanted 2 years ago versus what they're talking now, and it's the same people. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think it's divided the community because, like we were discussing earlier, a lot of the changes that have affected PvE have been the result of the nerfing and changes that they made in PvP. And that's had a negative impact for a lot of people. It's divided the community. And so now a lot of people are just sort of down to the wire where, can you please just undo, the special ammo situation, and can you please address the lag and dedicated servers. It's come down to like these 3 things, and it's like if you look back in the beginning, there were so many people that weren't complaining about that. They weren't complaining about the meta or this gun is OP or this gun is OP or whatever. It was more about, we want more content, we want to be able to change our character, we want to have an ease of use like on our D-pad or whatever for materials, or and some of it they did improve, like materials, you didn't have to farm for 3 hours to get spin metal, for example. Now you can just go buy it. They made some improvements, but now it's like, all of those original things that people really wanted to be added into the game have been either forgotten or people just don't think it's important anymore. I don't know, but I kind of went back to the beginning and said, okay, we've been asking to have the option to change our character from the very beginning, and now to learn that, no, we're not going to be able to do that, you just have to start a new character, kind of bums me out, because my philosophy has been, I want to do the whole 10 years with the characters that I created, and I'm running all my first characters through to the end, and I'm not going to change them. So that's just me, and I know that a lot of people have gone in and changed their characters and, started over many times, and I just don't want to do that.
Well, this is something we speculated on the last episode, and you did confirm, I think 2 days after you found it in a help topic, that they did confirm that the only way to customize a character would be to start a new one. And I just don't understand this at all, because, again, the players that want to continue their character, and again, being able to change a look, like you have is it your Titan that's got the horn you want to get rid of?
No, my Hunter. My Hunter is an Exo. That's really the only one I want to change. My Titan and my Warlock are fine.
Okay, but your Hunter, it has and it's just the horn you want to get rid of on the forehead, get rid of the unicorn look, right?
Right. Yeah, I want to get rid of the unicorn.
Yeah, so why couldn't they make it, if, it's going to take the new players to the custom character creator screen to make a character. They're letting players from D1 import their characters. Why not just have everyone go to the character creation screen, and the players that are coming from D1, their preset is their Destiny 1 character, and that's their starting model, and they can tweak it from there. And I just don't understand how that's not something that could be so easily done by them that would let everyone still be able to either create a new character or tweak their existing and go from there. And, because like I said, all the new players are going to that character creation screen anyway. Why not just let the returning players go there and have theirs as a preset? So it just makes no sense.
Well, I think there's some questions, too, about the character that you're going to be using in the beta. Like, are we importing our characters into the beta, and does the beta continue on with that character from there, or is it just completely, you start a new character in the beta and it's all just isolated and doesn't matter what you do or how it works in the beta? So I'm a little confused on how that's going to work as well. I haven't heard enough about it, but I've seen a few things that make me question it.
As far as I know, your character just exists for the beta. It's not an existing one. But again, there isn't much clear information coming through. I guess we'll find out Tuesday.
Wednesday for the Xbox people, because you guys pay off Bungie, bastards.
Sorry to rub that in there, but I'll enjoy my Tuesday.
I don't know where I read it at, but I remember reading one of the articles, I think it was IGN. The character that you have in the beta, nothing that you get in there or anything you do, I think they said none of that transfers, like you don't get to keep anything. It's just a tester. But going back to what you guys were saying a second ago, I didn't want to interrupt. The changing how your character looks, according to all the articles they've put, I don't think, like when you import and you get your emblems and stuff like that, that's apparently tied to your account, not your characters.
Right.
Have we received any news, like if we're going to get anything in particular for actually importing the characters? Like, is is it going to change the dialogue? Are you going to get anything for it? Or, I mean, should we just go ahead and make new characters so we can change how they look?
It's account based. So if you create all new characters, you don't lose your history with Bungie itself or the game. You don't lose anything. If you want to create a new character, then that's the time to do it. It's just for me personally, I don't want to delete 3 years of characters that I've been playing just so that I can get a new look. To me, it's more about, I mean, it would kind of bum me out to delete my characters. I have an attachment to them that is higher than wanting to change the way they look. So for me, I'm just going to keep importing however long Destiny goes. I'm just going to keep importing the characters that I've created from day one, and I'm not going to opt to delete one of them just so I can get a different look. That's all it is. You still carry the same
unicorn for life.
Yeah, I mean, you're still going to have all the same account because it's account based.
I was just more curious to know, like, I mean, I've had my hunter and my warlock ever since I've started. I recreated my Titan because I knew I wanted to make a defender, and I thought back then, Titans made more sense as Exos, stouter, hit harder. And I was trying to make his color match the void color, and I completely messed that up, and he looked all sorts of stupid. So I restarted him, but, I mean, I'm really curious to see if when you import your character, if it changes the story. I mean, if you're a brand new character on Destiny 2,
you would think
they would be... Well, I was hoping for something like that. I mean, just like a little hint, just, them talking to you like you've been there for a long time and you've done, some cool stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people would have liked, but yeah, I don't think they're going to do. I think they want everyone to have the same experience, and that's why they tied everything account based on whatever we get, like the emblems, and they said there will be more than those emblems that they announced. They said there will be other things for D1 players within D2, but again, it's going to be an account basis, not character wise.
And you're highlighting something that's important, which is you want some acknowledgement that the character that you're important is continuing on with the journey, and that's what I've been trying to say from the beginning, is that it's supposed to be, or what I thought it was supposed to be, was a journey, a 10-year journey with your character and your guardian. You were going to be increasingly getting more powerful, and you would be taking, your character through this experience all the way through the end. And really what they said is, nope, you're going to start over. Everybody's starting over new in D2. It's just like a new game, and this is the way it's going to work. And I've had a kind of a hard time accepting that, and so the only thing that I can do for myself is just import my old characters and know that they're day oneers, where some other people may just start new characters.
I don't know. Yeah, that was important for me too. It's nothing fancy, but I'm a writer, and I try to, I don't know, like when I'm writing a story, I try to get into my characters. When I'm playing a game and I can customize them and change them how I want to, I try to get into that character, have them have their own personality, certain things they would do. I mean, I try to get in depth with it. And yeah, that was really disappointing to me to hear that, nothing else was changing over, and it was just like a brand new experience. It was like, well, what about all this stuff I've done with this character for the past few years? Like, none of that mattered at all. I mean, that's apparently what I got from it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt about it too. It's like a lot of people have said that they feel no attachment to their character because they don't talk, or there's not really any kind of personality, or there's nothing that they feel attached to. And I know a lot of people strongly feel that way, that they have no problem killing off a character and restarting a new one and going through the experience. Some people have created like 50 characters, and have gone through them over and over and over and replayed the story and upgraded, but I have not. I have an attachment to my characters, not a strong attachment. Like, I agree with some of the opinions that we don't really have any close interaction with our character. There really isn't a lot of talking, and I kind of get their point of view, but I'm still attached to mine, and I just can't see deleting that character or any of them, for that matter. Although I am on the fence about my hunter.
You want to say the unicorn? Just do it. But Here's my take on, how they're handling the transition to Destiny 2. There was a lot of speculation from the Grimoire that, the tower was going to be destroyed and the city, and we'd end up somewhere else in the solar system just because of the Grimoire cards kind of hinted at that. Ships floating in space carrying remnants of the tower. That would have made sense for everyone doing a reset on characters. Maybe the ghosts disperse and, have to raise a new guardian in another part of the solar system. But the way they've chosen to continue the story, where we're starting in the tower that we've been in for the last 3 years, and that tower is being destroyed, for all they want to say that it's not a 10-year journey, I mean, then why are we continuing in the tower? Why is that the opening sequence that all these characters that we've interacted with there, Zavala and Cade and Akora, the sweeper bot, it's 100% a continuation. We're facing a Cabal invasion, going back to the messages going out, to the Cabal on that mission on the Dreadnought, even running the Nightfall this week. There's the talk of Rasputin sending out the distress signals, and anyone in the galaxy could have picked this up. That could be tied into the Cabal coming. And there was also speculation by Sir Wallen in a video this week, if anyone wants to go to his YouTube, speculating that Rasputin could be in ties with the Cabal, and that was a very, very interesting video. So if anyone's into lore, please go check it out, because that was pretty cool. But anyway, I don't know, the way they've done it, again, it's a continuation of the story, and so we're importing our characters. So again, why not just bring everyone into that character creation screen and have that again as a preset, and everyone start there, and if you want to keep your character, you can. Because Bungie, you have to understand that a lot of people are like RedWingGirl and Random, attached to their characters. I don't want to change mine. I'm going to import mine as well. And so I don't know. It just
it's a dead horse. It's been beaten.
Yeah, it's a dead horse. But for all they say that it's not a 10-year journey, it is though. I mean, they went and they continued the story. So that's what just doesn't make sense to me. Is they want to be adamant about that it's not, but here we are continuing in the tower. And then Random, really quickly, you said you're a writer. What kind of stuff do you write?
Actually, it's all sorts of things. I don't know. When I was in high school, I found out writing was a really good vent, and I write a bunch of fan fiction stuff. I've wrote a few Destiny stories. I've wrote a few that are similar to like Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. It's a good escape. It's a good way to just, if you've got any emotion or anything built up during the week, you can just put it into that. It's like a productive vent.
What kind of Destiny stories do you write?
I prefer doing, I don't know how to phrase this, like a different timeline. One of them that I worked on for a little while, I kind of stopped at the moment. I started working on something else. It was the idea of, since Atheon, basically controlled time in that little vaulted glass thing, and Oryx, got the Taken to go in there. I thought it would be cool if somehow he was able to make a turn of events happen that Atheon kind of turned back time, and instead of the Queen and everybody hitting Oryx out near Saturn, if he just went ahead and turned the Dreadnought's cannon directly onto the Traveler, and kind of seeing, I had the Traveler kind of die, and at the last little moment, he was able to bring back just a handful of Guardians, but it messed with their powers a little bit. Like, they had different perks from different classes, kind of mixed them up a little bit.
Do you ever post any of your works on the forums at all, or no?
I'm way too shy for that.
Well, hopefully at one point you'll get to where you're willing to put your work out there for people to read. So we are at the part of the program where I'd like to get to everyone's favorite moments of playing the last couple weeks. So start with you, Random. What's been your favorite Destiny moment?
As bad as this is, and as much as I don't want to admit it, I finally got into the fusion rifle, fusion grenade fun, the last Iron Banner. I had yet to try it. I've become a professional at catching those things, and I saw Mayhem, and I knew I sucked with hammers, so I put on the Armamentarium, Simmering Flames, and I just had a blast.
So you decided to be part of the problem, huh?
If you can't beat them, you know.
You know what's funny about that is that I think in Mayhem Iron Banner, I prefer so many other grenades over the fusion grenades as far as use. On the Sunsinger, I actually prefer solar when playing them. And my favorite grenades for Mayhem Iron Banner are the lightning grenades and the incendiary grenades on the Gunslinger.
The only reason I went with fusion on the Sunbreaker was the simple fact of if you had that Simmering Flames going with Mayhem, I was counting it, and I was getting a fusion grenade back every 2 seconds with max discipline. So it was, I mean, there was a few matches where I didn't get a single gun kill. I mean, that screwed up my bounty, but it was hilarious.
What about you, Jay? What's been your favorite moment the last few weeks playing Destiny?
I'm just trying to finish up everything. You know, I'm not really a completionist, but I'm just trying to enjoy it the last little bit that I have. So I've been kind of doing random things. I've been running raids here and there, playing trials, or just chilling out by myself, you know, going offline from everybody else and just playing through some story. I try to solo raids and stuff like that, and solo nightfalls. You know, I'm just being really random right now because I kind of feel like I've accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish in D1. So now I'm just going to try to enjoy it until I don't know if I'm going to play the beta. I probably will, but maybe not quite on Tuesday. Maybe I'll wait until next weekend. But, you know, I'm just going to try to live it up for the last little bit that I got.
What about you, Mark?
I haven't been on the past couple of weeks since Iron Banner. Like I said, we competed in Iron Banner, and I always get a bit of literal and metaphorical hangover after that. I think I must have played about 200 games that week, grinding out the score. But I'm super excited for the final Iron Banner of Destiny, which kicks off on August the 1st. You know, you mentioned before about fundraising. Our clan for various things has always kind of had these little fundraisers again to bring the community together. I think, the first one we did was in the run up to Taken King, yes, because half our clan were on PS3, half were making the jump to PS4. So we raised some money and did a raffle, and we managed to give away 2 PS4s. And then later on in our clan's lifespan, you know, as more and more people were moving to PS4, we had a few buddies left behind on PS3. So we did, over the years, a few fundraisers, just literally to buy them a PS4 and get our friends onto, you know, current generation. Then we did a fundraiser for, one of our clan members. His daughter was successfully treated for cancer. So we did a, 48-hour stream, put it together on the back of a, piece of paper and got it ready in 5 minutes and did it over the weekend, but managed to raise $1,400 for the McMaster's Children's Hospital. Later on, as you mentioned at the top of the show, we did a fundraiser for our friend Bill and managed to raise $1,700 for his family as a thank you from our clan, and to let her know how much he was a part of our world. And finally, we're doing a fundraiser just for ourselves. So for our final Iron Banner, we've already got $440 in the kitty. I'm hoping to get around the $600 mark from clan members. We're going to be raffling off, I don't know if you've seen them, the McFarlane Iron Galahorns. Hopefully we're going to be giving a couple of those away to clan members, unfortunately. Sorry, listeners, but you're welcome to join. And also offer loads of fun prizes for the clan members competing, in Destiny Clan Wars, whether it's for highest game score, most captures in a single game. We're just looking forward to grouping up. And for us, it's kind of, our final celebration of like 3 years of Destiny. Let's get online, let's drink some beers, let's play together and say goodbye to Destiny 1.
It sounds like a fun time. What about you, RWG?
Well, I was going to say that I'm wondering how many people are going to actually make the transition to D2. If there'll be a group of people, streamers especially, who don't like D2 and stay with D1, and I'm wondering how many people will actually stay with D1. it's kind of too early to say because, naturally everyone just assumes that they're going to make the transition to D2, but I'm wondering how many people will actually stay with D1. Anyway, my favorite moment was Iron Banner as well. I had a blast. I love Mayhem, and I normally don't play my Hunter that as much as my Titan and my Warlock, but I played my Hunter quite a bit, and it was just tripwire grenades left and right, and golden gun, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So that was pretty much my favorite moment was Mayhem Iron Banner. I love it.
And I seem to recall a certain RWG finishing like top score almost every game, the entire Iron Banner.
That's not true.
Oh
that is
my
not
God,
true.
That was 100% true. You were in the top 2 the entire Iron Banner. You were 15 kills was your pretty much low water mark that entire Iron Banner. You were dominating on your Warlock as well. I think on your Void Warlock you were just tearing people up in there.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that Blink isn't going to transfer over on the Hunter because generally I play the Blade Dancer on my Hunter and only because of Blink, not because of everything else. But since they made it so, your radar doesn't show up so late afterwards, it's hard to get a beat on people using Blink. But I enjoyed using it on my Void Warlock this time, and I did really like taking everyone out with that. I don't know. I'm not a PvP player, so any gains that I get, I enjoy. So what about you, Souls?
Well, Iron Banner was awesome, and you did dominate in there, and that was really, really fun. We had a good time in there. I'd say that and a little bit of wine and some King's Fall was a really good time. And then after that, we went with Mayhem and TKL and them and did a little PvP as well. Tex didn't make it too far into the night because he's a lightweight, although he's not Tex anymore. He's you in a bunch of numbers. Sorry, Tex. Don't know what happened there. Good luck with that. But that was fun. And I'm with you, Jay. It's just fun every now and again to just chill and not take it seriously. And I don't feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I inhibit the team. But it was just a good time. So I look forward to those raids when you can just have fun and just laugh at each other and ourselves in this game.
That's all I'm about, is just having fun right now. Maybe it's going to change in D2, but I don't know. I figured just send this one off with a bang, kind of thing. And it's been 3 years in the making. So I'm looking forward to what we got coming up next.
Well, RWG, you have a little announcement for those listening.
Oh, that's right. So tonight and tomorrow, we're going to text out on Twitter. We have 10 codes, early beta codes. So please sign up with our Twitter account. It's Destiny Truthcast. It's spelled DSTINY Truthcast. And if you see our tweet, we're going to be sending out random codes throughout tonight and tomorrow. So you'll get a chance to play the beta.
I might actually have to even look into that one.
We will be tweeting them out, starting this evening. So we have 10 to give away of the early access codes. We'll post those up there, and I don't think we'll make people jump through hoops. I've seen a lot of people doing coded messages and Charlie Delta, Z-4. I don't think we'll do any of that. I think it'll just be we'll throw them up there, and if hopefully those that need it get it, and I look forward to actually getting in and the beta being out and people being able to play, because there's so much salt going on about what this game might or might not be, and all these comparisons of the things we've seen to framing them in Destiny 1 framework. So it's exciting to me that people will be actually able to experience these changes within what D2 is and formulate their own opinions on it and see where people actually stand after actually playing it instead of speculating. So I appreciate all three of you joining on. Hyatt, I know it's probably late in the evening there in the UK, but glad you could make it here with us today.
Thanks for inviting me, Sol. It's been great. It's not too late at all. It's 10 p.m., but I'm going to be staying up till at least 3 a.m. to watch that Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 1. So thanks for making it an enjoyable evening while I'm watching the clock for Game of Thrones.
Well, thank you for joining us. Jay, have you got any inkling to tune in to the Game of Thrones tonight? Have they swayed you at all?
I do believe my wife is watching it. I think we're getting HBO specifically for this, so I don't know. I might pop in to watch it. I got a lot to catch up on. I have seen it. I mean, I've seen it. Like, I've walked in on it here and there, so I kind of know what's going on with it. So I gotta catch up before I really want to get myself, knee deep into it. But I'll probably end up seeing it.
And Random, thank you for joining us. Glad you reached out to RedWingGirl about joining us here. I know you listen all the time, and it's been really cool having you on and getting to talk some Destiny with you.
Yeah, it's been an absolute blast. I've listened to the Truthcast for, I think, just about since they came out. I mean, these are always really fun. I'm a bit jealous of the rest of you, though, because I'm about to have to crash just to go to work tonight, and I pay for HBO all year just to watch Game of Thrones, and I'm going to have to watch it in the morning when I get off work.
Oh, no, don't turn on any news or Twitter or anything all the time you're at work, otherwise it'll be a spoiler alert.
As long as you know who doesn't die again, I think I'm going to be fine.
Yeah. Well, definitely. Winter is here. I can't wait either. It's going to be fun.
RedWingGirl, it has been wonderful being here hosting the Truthcast with you for another week. Glad we get to do this, and as always, it's awesome being here talking to our guests from all over the country and the world and talking some Destiny.
Yeah, it was really great, you guys coming on, talking with us. Like I always say every week, I really enjoy listening to the diverse group of people in the Destiny community because everyone is so different and has so many different play styles and what they like in a game and what they don't like, and it's just really interesting to hear everyone's opinions on it. And so I'm really grateful that all three of you guys came on today to talk with us.
And to everyone listening on SoundCloud, on iTunes, watching on YouTube, participating on the forums, look forward to your feedback as well. And again, if you're interested in a code for the pre-release beta, we will be putting those out again on Twitter. So just look forward to hearing everyone's thoughts, and we'll see you all next week again. We'll have Cowboy Art here next week, so that'll be really exciting, and hope to see you all then. Everyone have a great week.
That's a wrap. Thanks, everybody.